Well, welcome back to Project Buddy. So the next project is the resumption of getting rid of knob and tube wiring in our house. So I did a video a while back on this. It actually was a pretty big hit, but I got a lot of just comments that I didn't like, so I took it off. So I'm gonna just try again. So I'm just gonna show you what I've got. I'm doing the lower portion of our house. Our house was built in 1903 and we still have some knob and tube. So I will show you what some of that looks like. So up here, if you can see, this might be a little bit better because so these two wires, one of them's hot, one of them's neutral, and they go to different sections of the house. We got some current wire in here, but I just need to replace some of this stuff. So that's where I'm going to sort of start. Is there's just only certain outlets down in the downstairs that weren't upgraded. I don't know why. So I'm just going to start a little bit at a time. I'll show you where I'm going to start and how I determine whether it's a hot wire or a neutral wire, etc. So I hope you enjoy this. Even if you don't have knob and tube wiring, at least you can get an idea of, hey, this is the way it was, or this is what you need to do for other areas. Hopefully some of my tricks will work. So we'll go from there. So one of the tools I use is this. It's called a non-contact sensor. So if I put it up towards a wire that's hot, I'll know which one is hot and which is not. So a hot wire obviously has voltage going through it. The common is just the return for the electric. So for instance, up here, I've got one, and you'll see it lights up. Where the one here, nothing. So that means that that one is a common that I'll be using. Now don't judge me, I'm back in my workshop. It's a little cluttered. So this area is different than the rest of the basement. This actually still has some of the lath and plaster. So some of these holes have already been there. We got some coax cables, we got a pipe. So over back here, you'll see some wires hanging down there. Those go up to a outlet that's in our front room. So I'm going to start by fishing some wires from one area over to get here. But I tend to just use a fish line first and pull like a rope. Then I can pull the wire through fairly easy. So we'll start with that. Okay, so I'm going to go up this hole. What I've got is these poles. They're fish line poles. They're real rigid and you can screw them together. So I'm going to start up here and I'm just going to go over to that hole. I know it doesn't look like it's very far, but it's just sort of a pain to get there. So I've got a little nut on the bottom so that as I fish it through, that nut will come down and then I can grab and be able to pull wire through if I need. I'll put a rope probably on it just to make it easier. So that's what we'll do right now. Okay, so this is the hole that I'm going to go back into. So what I'll do is I'll just, let me move this a little bit. I'm just taking my fish line, I'm just bringing it in through here. You can see And I'm going to go back into that area. Oh, and this is fun. And I've got that little nut on there, and I'll pull it down when I get over there. Okay, so you can see I've got my little nut here. Now I can just put some rope on here just to pull that section up. I'm gonna get my flashlight, and I'll show you where those holes are for the wires that are coming to the other outlet. Okay, so I hope you can see there's some wires here, and then there's a hole right there. So that's where I'm going to fish my wires up into an area, and then with this part I'm just going to pull the wire back through this wall, because I've got an area back here that I need to go this way to the right. Now I'm going to have to use a drill bit to go through all these boards. The challenge that I have is that I don't have a hole there, but I actually marked an area on the ceiling where that is where the other wires should be. So at least I'll have a place to pull it through too. So I'll just pull one of the wires now. So I just attached a rope to that so that I can pull it back through, and I have something sturdy to pull wiring through. That's what I'm going to use once I get it out the other way. Okay, so I use my pull rope. I put some electrical tape around and wrapped the rope around there, and I got it pulled through. I know it didn't seem like it's that far of a distance, and it's not, but this is just, it's an easy way to do it. Otherwise you're like spending a bunch of time trying to get it through a hole or whatever. Those little fish rods really help quite a bit. So I'll find out where that next outlet is, and then I can maybe run some wires that way, and we'll go from there. So since I have some areas exposed, I know there's a joist there and a joist there, so I need to go all the way over here. I measured, and it's basically about 16 inches, which that's what normally it is, and I've got plenty of space, so there should be a joist further over onto the left side, so I'll be able to see where I'm going. So the tool I'm going to use is this little angular saw. It just shimmies back and forth, and it makes it really easy just to get through certain sections. It's really handy. I use it to like get under door jambs and stuff if I have to cut some wood out to put carpeting down or whatever. So we'll cut out a little spot up there and see where we are. God, I'm good. So I don't know if you can see up there, but there's the wires. So I hit it right on the right spot. The thing I thought was interesting is there's a coal bunker down here, and I've got pieces of coal that were up in the ceiling area. So that was a tad interesting. So at least I know where the wires are. There's a hole that shows where they're coming down, so when I'm up at that area I can fish a line down, I can grab it and pull the wire up there. So I think what I'm going to do is drill some holes to, I don't know why I do this, I keep looking at where I'm working. I'm going to drill some holes through these boards and fish the wire through. So that's where we'll go next. Okay, so I drilled some holes through these boards and passed it through. I figured This was a little tough since it wasn't, I could see or couldn't see, so I just cut a section out so I could get to this other area. So up there is where the other outlet is. So I got plenty of extra wire to go from one area to the other. I'm just gonna stop there. I know it doesn't seem like I did much, but that actually took a while. And along with that, I think I showed you the coal. Positive I did. But I actually found a whole slew of coal. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just nostalgic of, hey, you found something that was here back when they ran boilers and all that. So anyway, we've got that far, and we'll carry on another day. So we'll see you on the next day. Don't know when that will be. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. Take care. Okay, well, welcome back. It's quite a few days later. I just did one thing that I didn't record, but I'll show you how I did it. So I got this other wire here, and basically I came through this channel here where the ductwork was. I wanted to go back into this area and pull it, if you can see that, but it was really hard to get back there. This was sort of like a clean shot, where I could just go along that and I can just drill a hole through the boards. But I do know I'm going to have some troubles getting into the outlet area. It looks real simple because there's some holes drilled there, but stuff that I found before doing this is that if you just like grab onto a wire and, hey, put a string on it and start to pull, the chance of you losing that outlet wire is, it's just a risk I don't want to take. So I'll just show you where I came through. So as we're going out here, it's not quite as much of a clutter anymore, but I basically went through right up there. Let me see if I can get my flashlight up there. So you'll see where there's a pipe. That's the pipe that goes through. That's some insulation that's up there. So I just pulled the wire through that area. Going through over here, that goes to an outlet outside that I'll have to address. And it looks like those other wires went through here that went to the outlet, through that cavern. But I just couldn't get a wire through there. So I'm just, I don't know if you guys can see me or not. I'll put some light on me. So I just took another easier route since I have it. Obviously, if I didn't have that ability, it would be a whole nother story. So I have some challenges coming of trying to get a wire fished up to those other areas. So I'm gonna start working on that. Okay, so I took a different route. I've got these two ropes that are up in that electrical box, and I pulled them through using these wires that were up there. It was sort of a risk doing that. But I was trying to drill holes and I was afraid I wasn't going to match up and it looked like they were fairly loose in there. So I don't know if you can see me or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull one of these wires through. My hope is that I could pull both of them through, but I don't think I'll be able to. I think what I'll do is probably just put a junction box down here so that I can power up that particular outlet and then be able to tie in the other one as well. So I just wanted to show you what I had done, because I was trying to drill some holes to run a second line so I didn't have to pull these wires through, because I was just afraid that I would lose the rope in the pool. But I had my wife help me, and she told me whether, hey, they were pulling freely or not, and that the rope was getting pulled, etc. So this time it actually worked out, but I was taking a risk. So now I just got to pull this wire up. I've got it taped to one of the ropes, and I'll pull it up into that area. Okay, well, it worked. I was able to pull the wire, so I think it's going to be a lot easier if I just pull this one wire and connect it to the outlet and do a junction box down below. So at least I got the wire in. Like I said, it's not the method that I wanted to use. And anyway, and you can see the hole for the box is quite a bit bigger. So I think actually I'm going to put a double gang box in there just to give us some more outlets. So we'll see, but at least I got this one wire done. So my next move was I put this electrical box up in here so that I can tie all the wires together. Sort of tricky, but I got them in there. That way I can use this as a junction box to run power to the other wire, or the other outlet rather. I probably have already showed this, but here's where the wires all are, and it will go back into these little sections back there and go up into other outlets that are in the hallway. So one of the challenges I have is that's the front of the house. The electrical box is that way. So what I think I need to do is take a different approach of finding where all those particular outlets are that I could put junction boxes, etc. I keep looking at where I'm working. I apologize. I do that all the time. So put junction boxes like where I'm going to have to run wires to the left or the right, and that way I can run it all the way to the back. That way I'm not running into problems of, oh, I don't have enough wire for this area, or I have to cut it, or whatever. So my goal right now, I think, or my idea is, I will start back by the circuit breaker box and put in a breaker and start running the wire back this way and do junction boxes as I go, so that I make sure that I've got everything covered. You can only have so many outlets on a circuit, so I need to be aware of that. I believe it's 6 or 8 if I remember correctly, so I should be well within what I'm starting to do, but that way I can slowly start to cut out the rest of the knob and tube to be able to take care of that. So that's what the game plan is so far. So then on the other side of the wall, I put this junction box, and I put in these, you'll see the metal wire holders. I don't remember what they're called. So I can run wires to the front of the house, because I know there's an outlet out there that I got to replace. There's a wire that will come through excuse me, that will come through that other one, and then this last one I can run back to the electrical box. Okay, well, I'm back at it. I'm starting on the second outlet in this room, and I'm just going to use the same technique as before. It's just to pull the wire with a rope on the end so I can pull the other wire up because I know it's going to work on this area. I'm going to do one wire at a time, actually, just to make sure. But this one's a little bit different. It doesn't have an electrical box. Fortunately and unfortunately. Fortunately, because it makes it a little bit easier to do stuff, but that means I've got to put in an electrical box, but that's no big deal. The biggest challenge is usually wiring up the actual outlet or running the wire to the outlet. So we'll show you what I got. I've got to turn on a light here. So that big ball on there is plaster. We do have some sort of hard to do the camera. So I just got a hole there, and I'll pull the wire up through it and get the rest of this out of here. Okay, well, I actually got lucky. Somehow the rope came off the wire, so I must have not attached it very good. But I was able to fish this wire right up through the hole where we were, so that's a good thing. So I'll get rid of the rest of this stuff and start putting the outlet box in place. Okay, so this is the electrical box I'm using. I use these kind that as you turn this screw, these tabs flip up, and they lock it against the plaster or drywall. So that makes it go a lot easier. So we'll get started on that now that I got that wire through. Okay, so I've got the box in, and I marked some spots in there. Whoops. It's hard to see. You can see some pencil marks there. So I know I've got to cut some of this area out. I'm going to use just a utility knife for right now. And then that way I can get that through. I don't want to use something like a saw because you can tend to make the plaster crumble and make a bigger problem than what you already got. So we'll start on that. Okay, so this is where I am right now. Sorry, I keep dropping the camera. As you'll see up in that top section, I got some wood. So I'm going to have to cut the wood out. I know it just seems insane that they put a box or a electrical outlet in without an electrical box, but I've sort of not been surprised by some of the stuff I see. So I'm going to get that taken care of, and then I can get the electrical box in there. Then we can start wiring everything up. Okay, well, we got that in. So now we'll just wire it up. It was pretty easy. I used a little handsaw, and then I used this side saw that I use. I forget what the heck they call it. Sorry, it's dark back here. It just has an angle to it. It's a multi-tool, that's what it's called. So I got that part in. I'll just wire it up, and then at least we've got 2 outlets working so far. Okay, well, here's the outlet I'm going to put in. If you all don't know, the gold side is for the black or the hot, and the silver is for the common or the white. It actually says it on the outlet, and then obviously the green's for ground. So we'll get to start putting this on. So I've stripped them back. I actually stripped the wires back pretty far because I wrap them around the screws. I know you can use the little pinch points on the back, but I've just found, like if I've had some that I've had to take apart, they're just a pain in the neck to get them. You just got to basically cut them off and get a new outlet. So I'd much prefer, if I have to work on these or somebody else does, that hey, they can just take off some screws. So that's what I do. Okay, we got the outlet in. I did have to trim the bottom of the outlet cover because they put the opening so close to the wood trim that I can't, unless I notched out the wood trim, and I didn't want to do that. So I just cut off like 1/8 of an inch of the bottom of the cover so I could put it on there. So it worked out okay. So we've got it in there. I just need to wire it up to the box that I have downstairs, and then we'll have 2 working outlets, and we'll go from there. I know I got to put another outlet box in over there, but I want to get this one part finished up, and then I can work on doing the outlet box. Okay, I got them all in the box. I just need to put the cover on, so we're good to go with 2 of them. 2 outlets. Okay, so I'm working on one of the other outlets. I pulled the box out of it, which is right there. And I don't know if you can see in there or not, but there's a hole. That's where the wire was. I used this fish tape, and I tied it to the end of the wire, and I pulled the wire down to the basement, and now I'm going to pull it back up with the new wiring. Okay, so this is where we are. There is the fish tape that's going up there, and I'm going to pull this wire that I have attached to it and pull it through that hole. Okay, so as you can see, we've got it pulled through. Now I just need to put it in the electrical box and wire it up and put everything back together. This one was actually pretty easy, except I had to go in with a vacuum and sort of clean out some of the plaster that was sitting back there that was crumbled, and a few pieces of wood. So, sort of some of the treasures I found, some wood. So there you go. Okay, well, we've got it in. I just need to pull the wires to the junction box, but got that part. This was actually probably one of the easiest ones I've done in the house so far. I will show you, get my flashlight. I will show you what I did over here. So if you can see that, I put a double box there, so that makes it a little bit better for us. Whoops. So that's what I've got so far. This isn't all one day. This is like whenever I have the time to get to it. So we'll just keep going and showing you the progress that I'm making. Okay, I'm back at it again. There's some that I've done that I didn't show you because they weren't all that exciting. Just found that when I was putting the boxes in, I had to use a vacuum to clean out some wood and some plaster that was on the floor of it. But so this is the one I'm working on, and I think I might just need to think on it a bit of how I'm going to do this. So this one is, it's over this cold air return, but there's a board right here. And then if I go over to the other cold air return that I thought was on the same side. I thought I could fish some wire through there, but it's on the wrong side of it. So there is a wire down there, but I need to figure out how I'm gonna pull a wire through. So we'll see what we can do here. Okay, so this one's gonna be a little more difficult. These are the hot sides. One of them's the old wire, one of them's sort of a new wire, and I'm gonna have to check to see if that new wire goes up here to power something. And this box is a little odd, so I'm gonna have to pull the box out. So I think on this one, I'm just gonna hold off for a little bit. My thought is, if I get the box out, I'll do sort of like what I did before and pull a wire through with a fish tape so that I can get a wire through. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So I'll show you what I got downstairs that I need to work with. Okay. So this is what I've got. I've got a wire going through there. This is a common up here. This is a hot. So what I'm thinking of doing is, if I can get this disconnected, I'll just pull that wire through. My flashlight stinks. Pull the wire through there because I can fish another wire through. I could probably fish one through there too if I need to, because I think I'm going to use 2 wires when I pull them through. Before I want to wire up that outlet box above with some new wire, so I'll probably do that. But I need to go run and get a electrical box because all the ones I had I've used. So I hope everyone's still watching once I post this. It's sort of a project. So there you go. So off to the hardware store. Okay, well, I'm back at it the next day. I think what I'm going to do is just take this electrical box out and put a new one in. And pull wires that way using the same technique that I used before. There's just no way to really access the wires without pulling apart a bunch of sheet metal. So this particular one has some tabs right here that I got to undo. So I'll get the outlet box out and then we'll put a new one in, but I'll fish the wires with my normal method. So this particular type, you just pull these tabs out. It's where there's tabs back in the wall that hold up against the drywall or plaster or whatever, and then you bend these over to hold it in place. So this should now just come loose. I'm gonna have to get it unattached from the paint that was painted over it. Okay, so I got the electrical box out. I believe that this other wire goes up to that outlet up there to bring it power. So I'm gonna disconnect all of this and I'll reconnect up that other hot wire. Okay, so if you can see down here, right there's my fish line, so I was able to get it through. I just need to get rid of all these other wires so I can fish it the rest of the way through. So you'll see it just goes back into a hole back here. So I'm just going to get the other wire that I was going to use to pull through, then I can pull it up through that that hole. Okay, so as you can see, I could fish through that line just from a hole that's in the ductwork. I'll cut this. This is a hot line over here, so I'll cut that out. And I'll use this fish tape to pull it through. You can see, maybe you can. There's a little hole at the end. So what I do is I strip back this wire, cut off the black and white, and I just pull with the ground and get it through the box. Okay, so I got it done, got it pulled through, and you can see the new line. I cut out the rest of it. That's all that was in there. And I've got a couple pounds of pet hair in there that I'm going to have to sweep out. So now to go and hook up the, I don't know if you can see me or not, hook up the outlet box and connect it to power. Okay, so I'm putting in a new box. All you gotta do is tighten these screws on the bottom and they'll go up against the lath in the back. And then I'll wire up the outlet. Okay, so now I'm down in the basement and I'm just going to wire up these two wires so I can bring power to it. Ow. Okay, that one's working now, so we're good to go on one more outlet done. Okay, well, I'm in a different outfit now, but I decided I'm just going to stop this particular video. A lot of the other stuff that I got to do, I can do on another video, and it's not going to be that much exciting, so I thought I'd just get this thing out. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of the challenges that I run into, how I have had to get it done, and I hope maybe it's helpful if you have knob and tube wiring, or if anything, if you're just like, hey, how do I wire up an outlet, or how do I run wire? What should I use? So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, please like the video. That helps the numbers. Not that I have ungodly large numbers, but I anticipate that this one will actually give me some good numbers because, as I said at the beginning, I've had a knob and tube one on before, and it was pretty successful. Leave any comments. I guess if you're going to leave comments, leave constructive comments, or ones that are informative. The last one that I had, got frustrating. I had just had a lot of people that made comments that, I don't know, they just felt the need that they needed to comment, and it really wasn't very constructive. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'm up to like 76 subscribers, so I think that's pretty cool. And that's all I got for right now. I'll be back to doing some more. So thanks again for watching, and thanks for all your support. Bye-bye.